Hey everyone, my name is Brad and I vlog under the name Investing Doc. Today's going to be a little bit of a different post. It's not necessarily going to be 100% dedicated on the financial aspect. It's going to be more on the emotional / financial aspect of practicing medicine and what it takes to get through medical school and what it's like to have lost a young physician so early. So a little bit about me. I have the blog called Investing Doc, and a lot of it is spent on investing in your future. I think some of the time we get lost on investing, and I myself was included in that, meaning that I focused on a number rather than anything else. And with that number, I was so focused on paying off my debt that it was ridiculous. I cringe looking back that I posted on my blog about monk mode, where I literally didn't even have a couch in my apartment. I was so dedicated to paying off my debt that anything non-essential went straight towards debt payoff. And it was great. I paid off my debt in a year and a half. But I'd like to tell you a little bit about a story of a lady called Michelle that I went to medical school with and that I had the pleasure of living with for a little bit of time. Michelle and I are both from Texas. She wanted to be in OBGYN. We both went to med school. And while rooming together, we had a lot of good times. But I would say that a lot of our times are focused on dreaming about the future, what it's going to be whenever we're in attending, how we're going to take trips, how we're going to live it up. So we spent a lot of time renting this cheap house. I think we paid $250 plus electrical and water and everything. But that's all it cost us, was under $400 a month to rent this house in a cheap part of Texas where the medical school is located. And we spent all of our time dreaming like any other med student, which I think is fine, but at the same point, it's kind of, you lose the big sight as to what's important. So long story short, match day came along and we both ended up at a program. Although it wasn't in the same specialty, we both went to the same residency program, if you will. So there was one night where we crossed paths, and we both overnight were just sitting there and watching TV and dreaming. And I remember telling her about how the lady I was going to marry one day, how things were going in my relationship, and she was telling me about her relationships and what she was dreaming on for the future. And we didn't think much of it. I remember there was a Tom Cruise movie on the TV, and we just kept dreaming and dreaming. And again, we never really made anything happen. We didn't take a lot of pictures. We occasionally had some dinner parties, but it was a lot of delayed gratification. And I'm sure you know by now where this story's going. Michelle, unfortunately, in her last year of residency, was diagnosed with stage 4 signet cell GI cancer. And she actually didn't tell me until about 4 to 6 months before she passed away. And she never let me know how sick she really was. I mean, being a physician, I knew what that diagnosis meant. But we planned to hang out somewhere around February or March of this year. And in January, she sent me this box. And in the box, it had some things in it, like this lovely book to try to put my daughter to sleep. And she also bought me some clothes with her alma mater on there, Rice University, for my baby to support it whenever football season comes around. How the world has changed from January until now. Unfortunately, Michelle has unfortunately passed away. And with that, I think it hit me pretty hard, saying, wow, that trip that we had planned to meet up in March not only didn't happen because of COVID, but she passed away because of colon cancer. She had no predisposing symptoms, no family history, no risk factors, ate healthy, exercised. She just told me that one day she started noticing that no matter what she was doing, her belly was getting larger and larger, and she was having a harder time using the restroom. Went to her primary care physician, who did a CT scan and said, whoa, there's stuff everywhere that doesn't look good. So with that, I guess I'd like to talk a little bit about how it's changed me, right? So my wife was diagnosed with cancer and has since overcome that, although it was skin cancer. And then that was traumatic in that we had a scar on her face that took time to heal. So I think that has led me to hit the pause button on a lot of things in life. But more importantly, I bought things like this camera that I'm recording on today to start recording pictures. And gosh, do I have a lot of pictures. I bought a 12 terabyte drive to try to house everything that I'm taking pictures and videos of, because it's made me realize life is short. So the goal of this video is to tell people, look, I am all about investing. I'm all about the future, but being the richest person in the graveyard, nobody cares about that. And I think don't forget to lose sight over living your life. And it's okay to plan for the future. It's okay to try to make a lot of money if that's what interests you. But at the same time, I wouldn't trade those moments for anything. And actually, I would go back and I would go a lot more into debt to do trips and have more time with Michelle again. So I think it's made me realize that instead of focusing on my net worth, I'm now focusing more on emotional net worth combined with a net worth picture of how much money I have, because I can't just go out and buy things that make me feel good 24/7. But at the same time, I've noticed that not every dollar I spend is equivalent. And what I mean by that is that spending $1,000 on a vacation with people I love and care about is way more important to me than spending $1,000 on a brand new the Android phone that came out, which are awesome, but the experiences are definitely worth it. So I know it's a bit more of a somber post, but Michelle, I miss you. And if you're going through medicine, there's a lot of delayed gratification, and really just focus on the things that are important to you. You know, take time to go on those trips, take a little extra money out, live up life just a little bit. Don't go crazy, but live it up a little bit. So anyway, more interesting vlogs to come. We're about to move into the new building. So once that stress is off my plate, gosh, I'll be able to post so much more. But in light of COVID, trying to build a building and keep my employees and the people that are building our building safe, it's been challenging. So stick around. There's going to be a lot more content coming, and subscribe if you haven't already, because I'll keep vlogging about how it's like to be a physician and own your own practice. Have a nice day, everyone.